Ba-da-bum, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
All right, week 2 of the NFL getting ready to kick off. We're starting on Thursday with Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa Bay, kind of a mess last week, losing at home with 49ers. Jameis Winston doing Jameis Winston things. Carolina, they battled against the defending NFC champion, the Rams, but they fell short. But they'll be decent this year. You like Carolina's defense against Winston. Why am I going to spend any more time on this than I have to? I'm going to take Carolina to win this game. Then we move to the Sunday games. Hold on, I'm getting an alert, another Antonio Brown alert. The Patriots released a statement regarding this. I mean, I'll get to them in a second, but I mean, these guys are nuts with Antonio Brown. I mean, it's just, I mean, not to get political, but the guy's turning into Donald Trump of the NFL. Like, it's just like every friggin' thing that comes out now is what AB is up to, and it's just, I mean, it's just bananas. It's getting crazier and crazier. Who knows what we'll be talking about next week. Let's get back to Sunday games. We'll start with the early games. We got a lot of early games Sunday. Looks like we got 3, 6, 9. Wow, we got 10 early games on Sunday. That's no, that can't be right. Now we got we got 10 early games on Sunday. Jeez, clear your schedule, people, because you got a lot going on. San Francisco at Cincinnati. You get a rematch of Super Bowl 16 and 23. Except this time nobody cares because both these teams stink. And I'll take I'll take the I want to take the 49ers in an upset here, but they're not winning 2 weeks in a row on the road. I don't believe in them yet. The Bengals eke out a garbage win. We'll leave it at that. We got the LA Chargers going to Detroit. Chargers get an overtime win against the Colts last week. The Lions. I was half asleep in that game, because I wasn't paying attention because the Cowboys were on, and then after the Cowboy game ended, I was still just kind of in a daze, and apparently Detroit did something real stupid. They could have won the game, but I think they called a timeout when they didn't need to call a timeout, and then they gave Arizona the ball back, with time and whatever, and then they opened in another stupid tie. The Lions are not going anywhere. The Chargers have enough weapons on offense. I'll take the Chargers in this one. Minnesota, Green Bay. Tough divisional game here. Vikings. I'm still not on the Dalvin Cook train yet. I need to see a little bit more consistency out of him. He had a nice week 1, obviously, but he's got to put a couple of weeks in a row like that together before you can rely on him. Both from a running perspective and fantasy perspective. The Green Bay home opener, I don't know what happened Thursday night, but this is going to sound weird, but I think Green Bay is at a point now where it's like they're not trying to get Aaron Rodgers as involved as he has normally been. I mean, they're trying to lean on the running game. I think, well, from a fantasy perspective, I think the days are over where you could count on Aaron Rodgers for, having a big week every week. I mean, it used to be not very long ago where he was good for high 20s, 30 points a game every week. And I think he's past that point now. I think with the couple of injuries that he has, I think Green Bay's been cautious with how they run their offense. Instead of just having him go all the way out there and give up his body on every play. So, but anyway, I mean, Green Bay will win his game, but this will be a close one. This one usually is. And we got Indianapolis at Tennessee. The Colts played well, lost in overtime to the Chargers. Tennessee, I mean, just took apart the Browns last week, and we'll get to the Browns in a little later. But this game is kind of a toss-up here. I'm gonna take the Titans at home, but This could be another high-scoring game here. I mean, the Titans, but were able to move the ball. I know the Browns were terrible last week, but listen, Titans put up 43 points, and they made Mariota look good. So this could be a high-scoring game, and I'll take the Titans. All right, here we go. New England at Miami. When we taped the show last week, what's his face was still on the Raiders, I think, right? Yeah, because that happened over the weekend, and then now he's coming to New England, but now apparently he's got some sexual assault charges. I mean, what? Can this shit get any crazier? I mean, can it get any nuttier? I mean, remember a long time ago when the craziest thing about Antonio Brown was the thing he did with his foot with the cryptotherapy. Remember those good old days? Yeah, what was that, a month ago? I mean, think about all the nonsense that's happened already. That's what I'm saying. He's the Donald Trump in the NFL. Like, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And there's no ceiling. I mean, there's no ceiling. I mean, But I tell you what, New England didn't do their homework here. And, whether or not the allegations are true or not, who knows? They'll come to light, I guess, at some point. But the fact that, everyone was like, oh my God, I can't believe New England again. Belichick, pulling the rug over everyone. And, oh, whoops, you forgot to do your homework on this. And now who knows what's going to end up happening. You wonder if the Raiders knew that this might be coming. And maybe that's why they so easily released him. You wonder if they knew, but I'm not going to give Oakland credit because, they were enablers in the whole thing anyway. Anyway, well, New England's going to beat Miami. I mean, I'm not talking about the game here. I mean, Miami's disgusting. I mean, they might be looking back at this team in 50 years, and they'll all get together for champagne to celebrate the 0-16 Miami Dolphins of 2019. But New England's winning this game. I don't care. Unless AB runs on the field and starts shooting people, which again, is it really out of the realm of possibility? Who knows? But New England wins the game regardless of what's his face plays. You get the Bills going to Giants Stadium. Bills were actually going to Giants Stadium. They didn't go anyway. They played there last week against the Jets. Buffalo had a nice comeback win against the Jets this week. Giants looking like a sharp 3-13 team. Saquon Barkley's a great player, but he's all they got. And I think Buffalo gets that second win in the Meadowlands this week and takes it, surprises everybody with 2-0. I mean, they're not challenging New England, but at least it'll keep those people happy for a few weeks. We got Seattle going to Pittsburgh. I know week one people overreact to stuff, and sometimes you get a little too excited about things one way or the other. But I'm legitimately concerned about Pittsburgh's offense. And listen, I know they played New England. They played at New England. They never win there, but Juju's got to step up into that number one role now. He doesn't have AB on the other side, which freed him up for those big plays he was able to make. They don't have Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. I mean, Connor is serviceable, but you really don't like what you saw out of the Steelers Sunday night. I know it was in New England. They never win there. Defending champs, opening week. I get all that, but that's a bad showing by Pittsburgh. And I know they cleaned some emotional house getting rid of Bell and Antonio Brown, but that doesn't mean everything's better now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm concerned about the Steelers here. Now you get in Seattle. Seattle struggled in a game that I thought they'd win fairly easily. I didn't like the way that they how to eke that out against Cincinnati. But DK Metcalf looks like he might be for real. They run the ball well. Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. Always gets off to a slow start from a fantasy perspective, and in the second half of the year, he's putting up 30 points a game. I'm going to take I'm taking a lot of road teams this week, but I'm going to take Seattle here. I don't like what's going on in Pittsburgh. I didn't like what I saw there. You can't come out in a big game like that and lose like that. It's just something's wrong. We'll see, but I like Seattle here, and then the panic button will go off in Pittsburgh. And then you get the Cowboys going to Washington. Again, last week, everything's clicking. You got the running game. you got these receivers, and you got Dak Prescott just crispy bacon the whole game. You don't want to get too excited because of course it's the Giants. But at the end of the day, the way Dallas won that game, that's what a great team is supposed to do against a team like the Giants. Just boom, 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 down the field. Everybody looking sharp. And listen, I'm telling you, when Cowboys are playing like that, they're hard to beat. Again, I don't know who in the NFC I'm supposed to be scared of. It's not Philly. It's not the Rams. It's not New Orleans. We can hang with all those teams. This is the year, people. That's all I'm going to say. They're going to beat the Redskins this week. They look like they might pull up a Philly upset last week, but then, then they turn back into Redskin pumpkins, and blew the game. But Cowboys will win that game easy. Arizona, Baltimore. We're still in the early games here. I don't have 10 TVs. How am I going to watch all these games at once? Arizona, Baltimore. Listen, kudos to Kyler Murray fighting back. He's going to be a great player. I thought maybe, and they looked bad that first half last week, but, hey, listen, give them credit. They battled back. Baltimore again, listen, 59-10 against a barely professional team against Miami. Can't get too excited, but you like what you see out of Lamar Jackson. You like what you saw with Marquise Brown. Listen, Baltimore could be dangerous. If they're going to play like that, again, you're not putting them 59 points every week. But, again, when you're a good team, that's what you're supposed to do to a bad team. And Baltimore might be a team to be reckoned with in the AFC this year. They'll win this game. But keep your eye on the Ravens. And the last early game Sunday, we got Jacksonville, Houston. Deshaun Watson's a great player. The only mistake he made, the other night, Monday night, was leaving Drew Brees too much time. Why would you score the potential game-winning touchdown in just 2 plays? Like, why would you leave Drew Brees 37 seconds? But, he's a great player. They've got great offensive weapons. Still don't like that he got sacked 6 or 7 times. They're supposed to have beefed up that line. They got to get that under control because that's gonna lose them ball games, and it was part of the reason they lost the other night was because Deshaun's still running for his life. But you give him time in the pocket, you see what he can do. He's a great player. They got great receivers. They'll beat Jacksonville this week. Their season's obviously over. Not that there was much was going to happen this year anyway, but Gardner Minshew. One of the guys in my fantasy league described Gardner Minshew as someone that looked like someone that tried to dress up Baker Mayfield for Halloween, which I thought was funny. Some people might not think it's funny, but I think it's hilarious. But Houston's going to beat Jacksonville this week because the Jacksonville season's over. Kansas City is at Oakland. We're going to late games on Sunday. Listen, like the way the Raiders responded to the AB mess. They came out and played with a purpose. Again, Denver's not a great team. So, they had opportunity at home Monday night. But you like the way they came out and played. Terrell Williams. And listen, Derek Carr, 3 years ago, Derek Carr was the next great quarterback. And then he broke his leg on Christmas Eve in 2016. And he hadn't been the same since then. And now maybe with, they got a couple more offensive pieces around them. Maybe Gruden's, putting something together there. The Raiders could get back to being competitive. Now they're not going to win this game because they can't outscore Kansas City. And I don't care that Tyreek Hill is hurt because, if Sammy Watkins is going to step in there. By the way, Sammy Watkins resting comfortably on my bench last week with 45 points or whatever it was. The Chiefs will outscore the Raiders in this game, but the Raiders look like they might be competitive. So but Chiefs will win. Then we got Chicago at Denver. This is going to be an offensively challenged game. I think the Bears are taking a step back this year. Defensively they're fine, but offensively something's missing there. They really don't have a big play guy on that offense. They really don't. The running back. They got the rookie. They have Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen's good for a couple of big plays here and there, but they don't have a consistent big play guy. I mean, Allen Robinson's your number one receiver. It's like, I mean, he's all right, but and then Trubisky, he's just kind of floating around. I just Chicago's going to struggle to put up points this year. Now so are the Broncos, but this is going to be a defensive game. I'm going to take the Bears, but I'm not confident in their offense right now. I think their defense can shut them. I mean, listen, Flacco's a statue back there. They have great corners to cover their receivers. So I think the Bears defensively should hold up. And as long as their offense doesn't turn the ball over and blow the game, I think Chicago will win. And then the last late game on Sunday, we get the rematch of the BS in the NFC Championship game. We get the Saints going to LA to play the Rams. Listen, the Saints got ripped off, but what are you going to do? I mean, just because they call that pass interference, if they would have called it, doesn't mean the Saints are going to Super Bowl. Still a lot of things that could have happened in that game. So you got to stop crying about it. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I think the Saints will win this game. I think, again, I'm surprised the Rams came out and played as well offensively as they did. I really think that they would regress, after the Super Bowl they had last year. But the Saints are going to be chomping at the bit to get at the Rams because of what happened last year. And again, I mean, they're just as talented. I mean, you could argue the Saints are even better than the Rams, but I think the Saints are going to play this game with a purpose. And this will be a nice high-scoring fantasy game, which both these teams played last week. But I'll take the Saints in this one. And then Sunday night, you get the Philly going to Atlanta. Would have been nice if the Redskins could have got Philly a nice division loss, but I mean, whatever. We'll be neck and neck with Philly for a little while, then we'll pull away and win the NFC East, get the number one seed. But Sunday night in Atlanta, I mean, again, Atlanta's another team where it's like, I don't know. Listen. I don't know why people pick Devonta Freeman as the running back in their fantasy draft. He's just not a guy. I know he had the 1 or 2 years where he blew it up, but he's just not a guy that you're going to get consistent points out of week after week. He's just not. I don't know why. I don't know why you want to look at that. Look at that in your lineup every week. It's just, And listen, if Julio Jones doesn't have a big game, their offense just sputters. And listen, Julio's a great player, but he's a guy where 1 week he'll have a huge game. And then he'll have a week where he does nothing, and he's just not consistent enough. Matt Ryan's Matt Ryan. I mean, he's a good player, but I don't know. Atlanta's just again, I can't trust Atlanta to do anything for at least the next quarter century until that stink of Super Bowl 51 lingers away. I don't like to have to pick the Eagles here. I'm picking a lot of road teams this week as it is, but I just don't see how Atlanta. I would love to see Atlanta get the upset here, but I don't know that they're gonna. I think the Eagles will find a way to win the game. But listen, by the way, Deshaun Jackson's not doing that every week. So everybody, I mean, it was a nice nostalgia thing, have him come back, have a big game, but I would not expect that out of him every week. And then we go to Monday night. We get the Cleveland at the Jets. 50th season of Monday Night Football. This is the matchup that was the first ever Monday night game back in 1970. So I like what the NFL did with the scheduling here. Would have been nice if they did it the opening week, but they got to have that stupid doubleheader for whatever reason. But this will be, and listen, the Browns and the Jets. I mean, you look at these two teams. I mean, you get tortured histories, basically have done nothing for many years, for the most part, and both these teams coming into the year with excitement have bad home losses to start the season. I mean, one of these teams is going to be very devastated Tuesday morning because they're going to be 0-2. And I think it's going to be the Jets. I think the Browns just have too much talent on offense. They were amped up. They came out, scored a touchdown right off the bat, and then they got a little too excited, and they didn't expect Tennessee to punch them back. So I think that was I think as bad as that was a loss, that'll be something that they can rally around and get focused this week. The Jets, I mean, listen, the Jets loss this week is classic Jets. Just as soon as the fan base gets excited about what they're doing, it looks like you're going to win, and then you blow a 16-0 lead at home. to a team with barely capable weapons on offense. A typical Jets loss is what that was. So I think Cleveland's going to go in there and win the game Monday night. Because I got Baker Mayfield in my Superflex dynasty, and he needs to start doing something. I can't have this shit every week. He's got to start playing better. I know it's only week 2, but come on, we're not getting any younger. But there it is. So we'll see you all on Sunday for the Cowboy game, and there you go, week 2 NFL.